Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Today, I am really excited. I have my dear friend Victoria Givlin on the show with us. So, Victoria, why don't you introduce yourself to my audience and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Hey, thank you so much, everyone listening. And thanks, Jeff, for the opportunity. My name is Victoria Givlin. We are such multidimensional beings whenever I think about it. And I know that's such an interesting thing to start off with, but overall, I'm a storyteller and a community builder. And I absolutely love what I do. And I get to listen to what people love to do every day and I get to help them grow. So yeah, does that explain enough?
I love it. Well, let's talk about networking because I think, one of the things about you in particular is you're a bit of a renaissance person. You've got say, okay, describe yourself in 3 sentences or less is a bit of a challenge. Let's talk about your approach to networking because that is what we're going to cover. Um, First of all, I'm going to ask you to sort of share why you think networking is important, and I'm going to get you to share what you consider to be good networking.
I consider networking very important. It's all about getting to know other people in the community and getting to support one another. I think as a species, humans are meant to communicate, we're meant to collaborate, we're meant to work together. So I love the entrepreneur community. I love getting to just meet other people because we are so much more than just our job too. Like people to me are wonderful. And I know that, we don't always show our best selves all of the time, but overall, I think, you know, there are others that want to support others and they love what they do. And going to networking events, that's really where all of the energy of these people are. Like you can get to know them, you know that they've got like-minded passions, they want to meet other people, they want to connect. You've heard the term, I'm sure, your network is your net worth. Like these are true in a way, and that, what type of vibration of people are you hanging out with? And that can, everyone can spiral. And the last few years were insane for many of us, but it was also a really big time where a lot of us chose to step into like love frequencies and following what they really like to do and doing that to the best of their abilities and trying something new and knowing that it takes a village for any business, for any baby, for any community. It's not when we're alone, we're not doing well. So getting out into the community and recognizing one another's strengths and how you can support each other in that builds your own business, builds everyone up. So it's win-wins everywhere.
I love that. And I think it's fascinating to me when I'm having these conversations about networking. A lot of things come up like energy and love and it's about really building authentic relationships. So now I call you second generation networking because I know Jen is amazing at it. I assume Jen got those skills from someone. What do you consider bad networking? Is there such a thing?
Yeah, I would definitely say, I mean, just like fitness strategies and like diets or health approaches or anything, there's good ways and bad ways. I mean, not to say that there's necessarily a straight right or wrong. There's etiquette problems perhaps, but you learn, right? But yeah, we're actually a third generation. So my mother learned it from her father and her mother. Both of my grandparents started their own businesses and they also ran a business together and these sorts of things. They did dog breeding out in the country, and then there was show racing and show competitions and building that business. And then grandpa did like three or four other things, and grandma opened an online business and downsizing company. So it was really neat. So it's definitely been something that we've learned, and I'm very grateful for that because I've always been one to be like, okay, I really want to follow whatever it is that I would want to do in this world. I just want to really enjoy what I'm doing. And I think everybody should go for that. And I think the last couple of years we've seen, and in Alberta, because this is my first full year in Alberta, there's this really overwhelming giant heart of I love doing what I do and I love waking up every day and I love connecting with the people that I get to connect with. And yeah, bad networking examples would be like being super late, being unprofessional in the things that you talk about, being too into controversy or politics or religion right out the gate, not having a win-win mentality, like coming in and trying to hunt for something. Like you should be farming, you should be gathering, you should be seeing what other people do and what they like to do and asking them how you can help them. And I'm a firm believer in karma, so I I just leave it in faith. I know it'll come. I've gotten to meet so many awesome people. So yeah, I'd focus more on like being your best self and trying to help others as best you can.
I love it. Now, one of the things I find a lot of really good networkers have a lot of self-awareness. And, one of my favorite questions to somebody who's not really new to networking, not really good at it, is, do you know who you serve? And honestly, if somebody can't tell me in a sentence or two who they serve, I can generally give them a good idea that their networking is going to be a little bit, shotgun approach. So, what's your big tip on networking? If somebody's relatively new, what are some tips you would give them on how to network better?
How to network better? Well, I definitely say get to know. So when I did social media marketing training for people, my biggest thing, and I guess my biggest tip here as well, is don't make it about you. Make it about the other person. Be genuinely interested and involved in what it is that they love to do. So my background's in psychology and promotional marketing products. So learning about what and marketing in general, learning about what other people love to do and who they serve, then being like, okay, who do I know in that familiar industry that could be a collaborator or even a client down the road, or some sort of, there's a win-win here. So maybe if you're in insurance for automobiles, maybe meeting my mechanic friend would be helpful for you. And just kind of making these partnerships where you can really learn to, like, you are giving them the best experience that you can. And that can be hospitality, that could be service, that could be a connection. Like there's so many different options. So whenever I call people and I'm like, hey, I'd really like to get to know you and your business and what your goals are, how you want to succeed, who do you want to meet? And they're like, oh, you don't want to sell me something? I'm like, personally, I don't even know if what I'm offering is a good fit for you. And I know that it's a great platform and there's nothing out like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good fit for you. Let's chat. Let's get to know more about you and what your goals are, because I know who I can help, and with my services anyway, of doing that. But then I also want to know who to connect you to that I get to meet and that I've already run into in my network, that there's some really awesome people.
I love that. And I think, Victoria, one of the things I see is people think it's my network. They're possessive over it.
Mm.
Um, I see it as our community. And yes, we need to take care of our community. But I think when somebody uses words like my network, it feels a little scarce to them. But, I think you have a great mindset around networking. Are there any resources that you use yourself to grow your mindset and to help fine tune your networking skills?
I have adapted which networking groups I spend time with, and that's from moving provinces and just popping in and seeing. There are a lot of really awesome groups in the area, so it's just really like finding a couple that work for you. So I want to find people that are collaborative. They're not competitive. The only competition that I have is from who I was yesterday. I know that nobody else offers, even if they do the same job that I do, they don't offer the same level of care that I do. So I never worry about competition, but it's always being like, how are the other people in the room giving back to themselves and to their own community? And do you admire the lifestyle that they have? Would you be willing and open to getting to know one another more? And again, just making more of those win-wins. And that's why I'm like, I know that I'm not the expert in writing books. I know I'm not the expert in being a radio DJ or being a florist or a mechanic or it's impossible. But when you get to know the person as a whole, you're like, okay, this is a great person, which means I also know that they're great at what they do and their community is also awesome. So I can trust that this relationship is going to be a win-win for everyone. And finding people with as much mindset of that as possible. Like what works for one group for me doesn't always work for someone else in another group in another location, because it's impossible to predict who those people are, but there are long-standing groups that you can jump into and just see, like BNIs or like the Chamber of Commerce or the Eventbrite or LinkedIn. They all have different like entrepreneur networking in the evening or for lunch, and just try to pop in and see, but see how you feel. If it feels warm and inviting and people are friendly and you have a good meal, then see where it goes from there. But there's no really, I can't tell you when one's going to be more beneficial than the other. You kind of just got to feel it out.
But I think when you go into any situation, assuming that you'll make good connections, the universe agrees with you and says, "Sure, let's make that random encounter pay off." Um, Now, I'm going to ask you some really unique questions to you, because one of the things I'm loving is finding out that there is no one way to network. And I think that's probably the most important lesson I would share, is that if somebody says this is the only way to network, that's the only way they know how. So part of this series is designed to share this. Now, I'm going to ask you a loaded question. You can answer it as well as you want or as little as you want. Are you an introvert or an extrovert, and how does that impact your networking style?
Am I an introvert or an extrovert? I think I'm very much split down the middle. Like,
Awesome.
I love people. I love my people. I love being around them. It fills my cup. I'm happy if I'm virtual. I very much enjoy being in person. I don't have a problem with large groups and with networking with them, but my battery does slow down. I used to think it was infinite and it's not. And so that's okay. But I mean, I very much like to retreat and kind of go to nature or read a book or snuggle my dog or whatever. So and recharge that way. But if I do that too much, then I also feel isolated and I need my people. So it's a balance. But how it affects I think again, I've just been so fortunate with seeing my family do it and how they got to grow and understanding like, hey, everybody's journey in life is different. And there's no just like a painting or artist or a book author or like these sorts of arts are arts. And there's no wrong way to do this. What works for me could work for me, but not for you. Maybe you're not good with tech at all and you really are an in-person person, and that's totally okay. You can over network yourself and go out 6 nights a week and then you've burnt yourself out, or you can, I feel like sometimes people, I don't know if it's my age or if it's just from the last few years or even younger than me or whatnot, but sometimes people's mental health are like, I don't know, like their social anxiety is so big. And I can understand that from like young struggles, but at the end of the day, just knowing like we have the same goals here. we ultimately want to support the community. We want to get to know each other. We've come out of our regular hours of work to work on building relationships. Like, this is what we're going for. So we're all moving in the same direction, and just having faith that, okay, like, there are 30 people in this room. I don't have to talk to 30 people intimately in 2 hours. I can talk to 5 or 6 people, or, just get people's contact information and follow up later and have good conversations with a few. Like, just go with the flow. You don't have to get them all. Don't spray and pray. That's weird when someone just comes in and sends all of their cards everywhere and doesn't
They
like
look like a
even say
blackjack
hi.
dealer. It's like, whoa, I got a paper cut.
So yeah, but
Spoiler alert, if you're that person, after you leave, everybody looks at you and says, who the hell was that? I promise. So don't be that spray and pray person. Come in, say hi.
weird.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to be the weird networker, the one who just when you leave, they're like, oh, that happened. All right. Well, here's what I'm going to observe. And I love having the introvert extrovert conversation because one of the things I've realized is that introverts and extroverts network very differently. And if you know that you're an extrovert and you know what an introvert looks like, you can make them very comfortable. Whereas if you assume everybody is just like you can make them very uncomfortable. And I think one of my lessons is if I'm looking to build authentic relationships, I don't want to be going around making people feel uncomfortable, especially if I can make a difference. Now, you do networking very uniquely you, and let's talk about you've got an event coming up. What led you to create your Christmas party, and how does that help you with your networking?
Well, I mentioned some of the awesome groups that I was a part of earlier, and I am loving being in there, but I also have my clients that I get to work with, and they are fantastic. People that aren't clients that are friends of mine, I tell people, I'm like, it's okay if you're not ready for my service right now. I still have awesome people in my connections, and I'd be happy to figure out some referrals for you. Come on out. So we know that you build your business in 2 ways, and that's from the first being networking, referrals, one-to-ones. Jeff knows a fantastic mechanic that I want to get connected to, and that happens. But if they don't have that personal relationship, they really know you through your content. And I know with my platforms and with what you're offering, like, this is great content. This is fantastic stuff for people to grow their brand. So in terms of networking, I do the events to just show some of these people. I get to meet 3 to 5 business owners every single day. That is my business. And not everybody, like the mechanic that works on in his own business at the moment, 10 hours a day, can go do that. But you're my friend, and I think you're awesome. And I've been helping you with your storytelling and your content side. How about you come meet people in person and see what sort of networking we can have? And it's not a membership event. People don't pay to sign up. Well, they pay for the food and the location, but they don't pay a membership fee. It's, you can come this month and you can't come the next, like, or you can.
Yep.
It's more relaxed, but I can hear the laughter. It makes my heart feel full, and there's some really awesome people in there. So I love the holidays. I'm in marketing. I celebrate them all year long. So I'm a big cheese ball, and being able to bring some of my favorite people together and like partner that with some other local awesome businesses that I've gotten to meet with and introduce them to just makes me so happy. So that grows everybody else's network, and it makes me smile. So that's the Christmas party. It's gonna be awesome.
I love it, and I will share the link. Now, this episode I'm expecting will be heard in many, many jurisdictions. So, somebody's an extrovert if they get on a plane and come to Calgary to have Christmas party with you. I'm going to say the introverts will call you the day after and ask how it went. So, that's my observation. Now, if somebody wants to get to know you and wants to be part of your network, how can they bring value to you? What kind of introductions, what kind of people are you looking to meet?
I'm looking to meet with people that it's very much about that positive energy. Like they want to help others. They're passionate about what they do. They like to probably teach others about what they do and how they like. You may be an electrician, you may be a mechanic, you may be an HVAC, you may be a marketing person, and that's fantastic. And you're great at what you do, but like, do you want to teach others in affluent communities about what you do? Because Canadians don't like to be sold, we like to be taught. So, how can we learn and improve and grow an abundance mindset about one another? And are you interested in taking your marketing to the next level? Because those are good connections with me. They want to stand out, they want to lock out their competitor, they want to pay less for marketing than they need to on their Facebook and Instagram, Google platforms, on YouTube. Like the video content stuff that we have supporting Pee-wee to pro athletes, those videos are thousands of dollars on the video production side from someone who knows, but we're giving it to you at like a fraction of the cost. And the same with the geo-targeted social media and digital impressions on mobile and desktop. It's like a tenth of the price of what it would cost if you did it yourself. So bringing those people to your door and helping you that way makes me very happy. And the listings option is cool, but people that also too want to show up higher on their Google listings. That's the most recent thing that we've brought in there. So if you have, for example, you're a restaurant owner and you ever drive to a restaurant and it says that it's open until 7, but it's 5 o'clock and it's closed. You're like, what? And it's
Not
probably
today, but
because
yes.
it's probably because the business owner didn't upgrade like Yelp or Skip the Dishes or DoorDash or Uber Eats or the Google My Profile or the Facebook page or the Instagram. Like there's something off here that's not lined up properly.
Yeah.
So we've created this portal where the business owner would just log in and say, actually, we just close at 4, and it would do it to all the platforms at once. So you don't have to have that problem anymore. You can post on one platform on all of them at the same time and not worry about all these extra logins and things like that if you don't want to. So people
And
that see the value in tech for sure.
and fair full disclosure, when I see a restaurant closed and it's not supposed to be, my brain goes to health code violation. That's where I start. So it's like, And my I get annoyed when I have a restaurant that we frequent, and they're just new to catering. So whenever they get a big catering gig, they shut the restaurant. And I show up at the restaurant and there's a handwritten sign on the door. And it's like, I don't know how many times I'm going to keep driving to, it's a 30-minute drive and the food is well worth it. But after the second or third time, it's like, could you just post, I don't care, just post it on Facebook or somewhere saying, we have a gig tonight, but the other thing is hire staff for your restaurant so that you can, sorry, that's a rant. Now I could talk to Victoria all day long, and she is one of my favorite people. So, Victoria, is there anything you'd like to share about networking that I haven't asked you about already?
I think it really just comes to a self-belief, like understand that you bring value to the table, that you know awesome people, you're a great person to know. And just be open to seeing where connections go. Be honest, speak from your heart, be yourself. should not everyone will love you, but that's in every reality that you go into with any aspect, if it's education, if it's networking, if it's a sports club. So just like gravitate toward those that are moving forward and rising up and trying to be the better version of themselves and supporting others. And don't stress too much about any of the negativity or getting stuck in really low energy. Just keep moving forward if you can.
I love that. Now, if somebody is either watching this video or reading the book, where can they go to connect with you and learn more about you and what you do?
Yeah, thank you. They can definitely connect on social media. They can send me an email. So my social media, my name's Victoria Givlin. Thank you. So you can search me up on Facebook or LinkedIn for that. You can email me. It's V and then Givlin at bestversionmedia.com. Always happy to connect there. And you can also go on Eventbrite or yeah, Eventbrite will have the networking events that we're doing. If you're in the area and you want to come by, I will do a digital one, I think, for our farther distance geographically people and our introverts, perhaps. So we will definitely do that. So keep your eye out for that. Instagram is VIIGIVLIN.com. Well, it's not .com, the at symbol. Sorry.
We'll
But
put some QR codes and links so people don't have to worry about spelling, but I I will make sure your details are in the notes. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me and share your insights.
thanks for the opportunity, Jeff. It's an honor and it was a great time. So I hope you saw some value in some of that. And
Absolutely.
happy to connect at any time. Thanks.